Hello, Smite fans. Welcome back to the commentary desk, where I am joined once again by Brandon Nance. Aru.
Aru?
Brandon Nance Aru.
I didn't take Kelsey's name.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome back to the commentary desk. Nonetheless, guys, it's Titan versus Night's Watch is going to be the game we're bringing to you now. And
what was the first team?
we've been going over Adonis's notes here.
The real notes.
Real notes.
So Adonis's casting today really brought something to mind for me. And that's that we don't say the second T in Titan.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, Adonis said Titan. And then now we're looking at each other, we're like, who ever says the Titan?
They're taking the Titan. Titan took second
It's a ticking time bomb till they take the Titan.
It just doesn't come out.
Take the Titan.
I say all of the T's in the Night's Watch.
Yeah, that's right. Mind your P's and Q's and cross your I's and dot your T's.
So that we can go into the P's and B's?
Hey! The Night's Watch versus Titan coming to you now.
So going into this, Titan's pretty much the favorites, right? Second place at World Championships. They did very well in the last split, making sure, or maybe not very well.
Very well, probably not, that accurate. I would say that they were a little bit discouraged. Maybe not discouraged, but they weren't playing up to where they thought they should be.
Okay, so we're going to get started here. Serket and Sylvanas getting taken away, probably the two most popular bans right now. After that, Neith, very popular over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be a little surprised to not see Titan ban it here. I mean, I don't know if they're going to want to give up the Neith first pick for any reason. But I mean, they have some time here. As you see, they're kind of taking a look. Besides, okay, yeah, so they'll leave it open.
Wow.
Will Night's Watch pick it up, or are they going to go for? Well, there's not really that kind of first pick. Thor would be the only thing that comes to mind that people have been willing to first pick recently outside of the Neith. But no, of course, it is the Neith for the Night's Watch. And Titan, well, they have a lot of options here now. Not surprised to see an Agni come out with a Poseidon ban. Would not be surprised to see their frontliners, something like an Ymir, picked early on in this one either.
For me, the Night's Watch, I want to see a Loki pick on the bottom. I think Loki's really strong in the current meta, very underrated.
Okay.
And NQ is one of the best Loki players in the world, if not maybe even the best at this point, considering how much he's stuck with it. Titan on the top side, famed Ares, will get picked up for Kanye life. Kanye really the only player in Split 1, or Season 1 rather, playing this god at all, and actually that's
like the most Titan draft that's ever been drafted.
Seriously.
Open up with Ares and Ymir. I mean, yeah, while there is, a little bit of the flavor of the week meta on picking lots of Guardians in your composition, this was a Titan composition, and really a European aggro team composition for some time now, 6 months or so. Draft the Ares when you can. First pick, really something more of the last couple months. And pair it with an Ymir, just tremendous amounts of damage through the first 15 minutes without really any items.
Well, speaking of Guardian, Sobek's going to be locked in here. One left remaining right now for the Night's Watch. This gives them a lot of flexibility. Sobek, decent Guardian in the Guardian role, plus can be played solo pretty well. Ra going to be locked in, more than likely for the mid lane. So starting off with a possible healing comp, all three gods, pretty significant healing.
This is where, question mark to Ataraxia, like how comfortable is he with these warriors? I mean, Osiris is a really nice pick right now, or anything that has built-in anti-heal. He's looking at a triple sustain composition right now, coming out of Night's Watch. 2 of those are self-heals, but Roz will add something to the table
and
as well.
He sticks to hunters, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's very difficult to kite Ra or really chase down Ra. He's just so speedy with that speed of light passive. But Apollo rounding out the picks for Titan here. Once again, we see a hunter that by many was regarded as sub-prime.
Right.
Continuing to climb the ladder here.
Well, he got a buff, extra damage put into his kit, just basically on his auto attacks.
Yeah.
Level 2 with Destol hitting 69 damage. Level 2. Very, very powerful. You add 100% attack speed to that, you can do
you can shred.
Real serious amount of damage.
But when paired with an Ares, if he's going to go to the dual lane, which he really hasn't been much of a dual laner recently, it's been really definitely more of the solo laner, especially with Ataraxia on your squad. You need something a little bit more clear-oriented probably to pair with the Ares, because as it stands right now, Night's Watch could easily put Neith in the dual lane and just run over an Ares Apollo comp with the clear coming out of Neith Sobek, or really any other pairing. But the bans are in for the second banning phase. Medusa and Bellona banned out. No big surprise to see Bellona ban. More surprising to see her actually make it through the picks of that stage.
Ullr going to get locked in for Titan, giving a little bit more flexibility. Both Ullr and Apollo are very decent in solo lane and in the hunter role. Ullr, one of the few gods in the solo lane this split that's really just seen like a standard pick, right? When we saw Cyclone pick it, it got banned out in the next game at regionals.
Yeah.
He was kind of the first guy that really brought this to the forefront. Apollo as well. I mean, Game Hunter in like Season 0 was playing this god in the solo lane with great appeal. But Osiris gets locked in here, and this has been the semi-counter pick that we've seen over the last couple of days.
Oh, they had to not pick another Egyptian god, didn't they?
Fenrir.
Look at all those Egypts.
So close. You almost got the, was it 50% bonus damage?
That's right, yeah, for picking all Egyptian gods. But they'll take Osiris Fenrir here, so a couple of frontline bruisers. Well, Fenrir kind of riding the line of an assassin. So composition-wise from Nox, it looks like it'll be, I mean, is it more likely that it's an Osiris jungle or a Fenrir jungle? I would say it's more likely that it's the Fenrir jungling over the Osiris, but we'll see, certainly. Zindern also known for his Fenrir play. But, yeah, it's got to be dual lane Ullr here and solo lane Apollo. You just can't afford to run Apollo Ares, and Ullr brings that clear to the table.
Hades could also be a solo laner. Ullr could go into the mid.
Yeah, but then who's the jungler? That means Ymir's the jungler in this situation, which was probably the case anyway.
Yeah, Ares going to be going to the duo lane. Lots of control. Fenrir could wind up being support here even. Sobek going to solo. Osiris could be jungle. I mean, there's both sides. There's a ton of flexibility, and it's going to be a guessing game to see who gets what.
Yeah, mid lane for Pretty Prime on Hades would not surprise me, honestly. And it will be Ataraxia taking Hades to the solo lane. Let's go ahead and introduce your squads, though, guys, as we are getting into game number one of 2 here.
Ataraxia is a solo laner.
Yes.
I've been gone.
Yeah.
This is my first opportunity to check this out.
Yes, Confree as the hunter now, and Ataraxia as the solo laner for Titan, but they are facing the Night's Watch, who is the blue squad in this contest. Bottom side of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. It is NQ in the solo lane as Osiris, Zindern in the jungle as the Doge, Carino mid lane as Ra, Wolf of Elo Street, and Moex combining for the dual lane as Sobek and Neith. Their opponents, the #1 team in Europe coming out of Worlds, #2 there, falling just barely to then Cognitive Prime. They're known as Titan. They're the top side of the minimap, the right side of the spectator UI, wearing the red trunks. It's Ataraxia in the solo lane as Hades, Repikas in the jungle as the purple pot Ymir. Pretty Prime in the mid lane as Ullr, Kanye Life plus Confree makes the duo lane, Ares and on her.
So the only thing that I'm really concerned about for Night's Watch is the fact that Moex is on Neith. Now, Neith, an incredibly powerful pick, but when I think of Moex, I think of non-stop, almost cheating level of auto-aim, nonsense auto attacks. Like, he never misses. The guy is, he's a robot, right? And you're putting him on a character that is not really known for her late game potential, right? One of the slowest attacking hunters in the game. Although her early game is incredible, Moex has always been kind of a player that's been known to kind of just outplay his opponent front to back and win fights off of the back that his character can attack faster, and he's not going to miss them. So a little bit of trouble there.
But it's probably worth noting here that it's not actually Apollo, but it is on her that was drafted by Confree, which does make a little bit more sense. Take that away from Moex in terms of the picks and bans of how this one played out. So we apologize for that, but it is on her, not Apollo, fitting into the Titan team composition here. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but just generally speaking, on her, a little bit more early game oriented than that Apollo would have been.
Right.
Which makes sense given the Titan pick, the Ymir pick as well. Just very early game oriented squad from Titan.
Oh, Zindern again using the blind spot to dodge the Frost Breath coming out from Ymir. Beautiful play there, but right afterwards actually uses the Unchained to jump away, kind of putting himself in a weird spot. It seemed like a panic jump to me, and which is maybe a little bit uncharacteristic of Zindern's normal play.
Look at all the Heartseekers going to have this game. There'll be Ullr, on her, and Neith all picking up a Heartseeker. So, I mean, basically it just means these mid-game fights are going to swing more than just golden experience. It'll also be a lot of damage, in fact, and Titan slightly more risky in that maybe level 10 areas where you'll see this really come into play. If they wipe it, it's going to be very hard to come back with the double Heartseeker build.
Plus, if you look at Confree, you know, like you talked about, he is known, you know, on her talking about, he is definitely known as a character that focuses very well in the early game, and he's going to be going into Heartseeker, which is great, but you got to remember Moex is going to have Unravel to make sure that he can sustain in lane. On her is not going to have that advantage, and given the fact that he hasn't picked Death Toll either, puts him in a spot to where he cannot heal himself without potions. This could make for a hard early game. You can see he's taking some damage there. Same thing over in the duo lane. Ataraxia getting very low there. Even with Hades' famed sustain, he's getting kind of pushed out.
It's easy to get outplayed versus an Osiris in the solo lane. I mean, his poke is really, you can't contend with it. Ataraxia has to work a little bit harder to get damage out onto NQ. Has to catch him really in a wave somehow to do maximum damage. And here we'll see if he's able to put something together, perhaps. But I mean, you can see NQ just basically baiting him. Moex in a bit of trouble here as the chains and flames are on him, but standing in that on her pillar Ullr not really in position to dole out too much damage from Confreeze. Wolf of Ela Street doing a nice job there, nearly finding a pluck that would have likely resulted in a kill.
Malk's getting very low right there. Ataraxia answering back and healing to the point where he's now ahead in the life lean. Not going to be enough to send him back just yet. Doesn't look like Mox is, or rather NQ is pushed out forever. Zindern rotating over, going to be, wow, jumping over Repicos right there. Good snipe. I don't know if it's enough damage, though.
They'll use the Neith ultimate as well on a Repi here, and he will die and be your first blood. So that's a big kill, actually. There was a purple pot active there. And mid camps looked like they were secured on the left side by Night's Watch, and on the right side still standing, in fact. So a staggered respawn coming. Here, Night's Watch, I'm not sure if they've realized that that camp is still up.
Strange to me that we saw the Neith ult actually hit there, and the Neith still rotated. And then Confree over in the duo lane, of course, doesn't have a global ultimate and didn't make the rotation. In fact, didn't wind up gaining much there. At best, Neith maybe lost 2 or 3 creeps to the tower in terms of gold, only 1 in experience. That's a big win there for Mox.
Check this out. Let's take a look at Ullr in the mid lane. He's going to turn the corner here and realize that there's mid camp still standing. A misplay by Night's Watch.
Yeah, big time. I mean, they had 3 people hanging out there. There was no reason not to at least peek over there.
And look at this. Look at Titan's response, right? They're going to bring all 3 here to get this experience. It's going to give a level 6 to both. Level 6 to Repi and get Kanye to level 5 now, as he's going to go hold the lane. And Repi wanting to set something up with this blink initiation. Ra going to make his way to the lane. Kanye life, he's going to have to set this up. No! Oof. That's like the 3rd or 4th time this game we've seen Repi, prioritizing hitting the minions over the gods and then skirting out of it easily.
It's strange to me to even see Repicos on Ymir. Now, we saw last game Cubo Fred playing Ymir, which is not a usual god in Cubo Fred's god pool. Not saying that he can't play him, it's just not something we normally see. To the same point, Repicos usually favors very mobile assassins. Characters like Thor, Alquang, we saw him very effective on. Really likes to be able to move around and outplay his opponents. And it seems to me that this lumbering hulk of Ymir is causing him to have a bit of trouble here. I think we haven't really seen him hit a freeze yet.
He hasn't seemed particularly potent on the Ymir, certainly through the first few moments of the game. But to be fair, Zindern hasn't got much going either, so it's not dragging Titan down. You did see Zindern set up that 1 kill in the mid lane onto Repicos
right, but
here.
It took 3 ultimates and a 4-man rotation.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they invested a lot to get Ymir, and they didn't get both the mid camps out of it when they had that advantage. So it really maybe isn't as big of a swing as you would expect out of a First Blood. In fact, Titan's still leading in gold here through 5 minutes.
Which is kind of crazy. I mean, First Blood worth a lot, especially with how many people were splitting it, how many people were controlling over there, how much gold they've split in lanes and camps with Bumba's Mask. Like, there should definitely be a much higher gold lead right now. Beautiful shot coming out from Carreño. Can they follow it up, though? Will it be enough?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Oh, they're just teeing off on this Ymir that's invested into Blink 2. I mean, no beads available. His ultimate, not something he can really afford to just invest. That Fenrir stun coming out, he basically chained it right into Ragnarok. There was a very small moment, and now selecting to buy those beads is Repi, so investing another 300 gold. Remember, he went purple pot as well, so that's like 700 gold effectively wasted. Moek's going to take a spill, though, to keep Titan competitive into this one.
Well, Titan actually going to wind up taking their gold lead back, even after dropping Repicos twice. But like we said, this gold lead might not spell the whole story. They did lose 450 from the pot. He's invested 900 gold into actives that he cannot even use, right? I mean, the blink so far has been nothing but his death sentence. And then the beads, of course, are available, might save him from the next death. But I don't know. They don't really need to focus Ymir anymore at this point. I think I'd be looking at pretty prime.
Well, you want to eventually buy beads on the Ymir, most likely, but you just don't want to do it this early.
Yeah,
you want to get those damage boots out. So, I mean, basically, the Ymir is no longer going to be able to harass that effectively. You can see he's actually about half a level behind Wolf of Ela Street on the side of Night's Watch. And that just means Sobek is going to be able to go blow for blow with the jungle Ymir. He's just another Guardian at this point, not really a magical bruiser.
Right, and with Ymir, the biggest thing for Ymir is levels. Almost more than any other god in the game, has the highest scaling in health at 104 per level, on top of the fact that Glacial Strike is one of the hardest hitting abilities in the game, and then Frostbite, right? I mean, you want to be able to apply that, get that damage off, and Night's Watch is doing a great job of recognizing this weakness and exploiting it. So now that they've forced Ymir into not finishing his boots, they can start focusing elsewhere, and for me, that would definitely be trying to whittle down these Heartseeker stacks. There's not a lot on board, but cutting them in half either way would still be a really strong play.
Yeah, killing a pretty prime here would be more valuable than another onto Ymir, and it's not unlikely that that's what the communications of Night's Watch are indicating as well. You know, they have that Fenrir Raw combination. They're looking for the Wombo combo, and it's just beads 1 on the pretty prime, which means that, you know, in the course of about 90 seconds, they can try that twice, and his beads will only be available for once.
So I love the play coming out from NQ as well. I mean, it's already a very difficult matchup. Hades, one of the best pushers in the game, and while usually Osiris has some pretty good push as well, it's a little hard for him to counter the push. It seems to me that NQ's aura, very similar to how we see Omega play in North America, his aura is really keeping Ataraxia away from the push more than the actual skill shots and auto attacks that he's landing.
Ataraxia, it looks like it's going to be probably an E-staff coming out first item from him. Warlock Sash, maybe, depending on how the lane goes, but I think he'd want to get involved a little bit earlier than the Warlock Sash would really allow him to in this matchup.
It would lock him in lane for a long time.
Yeah, and Osiris is going to have an Ickfall.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a tough miss for Kanye Life, but he'll just walk back into the jungle and try again in a moment. But yeah, the Ickfall, once the Ickfall is out from NQ, it becomes very hard for Hades to really fight him at any stage. But it's a big rotation coming out from Titan here, as they're going to go look to bail out Confrey. Wolf of Vila Street, he's going to see now that they're coming in on him, leaping forward is pretty hard. No, he hits the axe, snakes it through. Wolf of Vila Street's going to dash away, blink forward from Reppy. He'll hit a freeze this time. There's the follow-up. Big damage coming out. The burst from Titan is really, really a little absurd there. The bladed arrow plus that glacial strike did just a tremendous amount of damage. Carino, he's thinking about a snipe, and Zinder wants to help him out here. He's going to turn the corner, finds the stun at a pretty prime. Will go for the ultimate, but there's the bee juice, and now here comes Kanye Life. He'll pull at least one. Zinder is here. Chains applied, stunned, bursted. Down again he goes, and Repicos is Ymir showing off just what he can do, and a little bit of a cheeky wall there coming out to prevent any bonus damage on Moex.
I absolutely adored that play front to back. Most notably, you got to look at Pretty Prime. He hits the absolute Hail Mary axe, then finds a bladed arrow that not only hits a target that they wind up killing, but doing enough damage to Moex to like push him back a little bit. I didn't even understood how he managed to line that shot up, but he did manage to find both. After that, Hail of Hours is going to do enough, coupled with everything that the team threw out. I mean, kitchen sink status, trying to pick off that kill into Sobek, and they do get it. Then they bait back a little bit. Zinder gets a little bit baited as well, and Titan puts themselves in a position where they're looking much, much stronger, now up by about 1,300 gold with only a 1-kill advantage.
That was an interesting play we were just watching there. It's really, really unlikely that Hades manages to steal your camp ever. His two abilities plus Hog just don't kill the triple camp until he has actually a pretty decent amount of magical power on him.
Yeah, he needs a lot. It
so
takes a long
he has
time
to in-hand like 5 or 6 times maybe to actually secure his camp, and was able to do that against Osiris. So NQ get a lot of poke out of it.
Well, NQ also took the speed buff towards the top side, which is actually probably a better run considering they don't need the blue buff on NQ as much as Repicos is going to need the speed buff to walk around. Ymir's slow.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, that will hurt for him. But he does have that blink too, at least to his credit here. Right side, mid-camp's Carino, maybe going to take a snipe at them, but you're going to realize, no, they'll be cleared out too fast with Ymir. And Kanye Life, he's going to get plucked. I'm not sure if they're going to really initiate here. What are they trying? Wolf Village are going to take a lot of damage from the Ymir ultimate. The burst coming through. Neith ultimate used on a pretty front on the backside, and Zinder should be able to clean that one up, and he will indeed. Wall a bit off the mark. Ragnarok used, waiting for Kanye Life. It's going to pull Wolf of Village Street forward. He's going to survive with just a little bit of HP, but no, there's Desert Fury coming through. Confrey makes the rotation. Neith, a little bit earlier there, was kind of involved in the fight, unable to help secure additional kills. It ends up being a 2-for-1, though.
Zinder, though.
Zinder, yeah, with the dunk.
Yeah, jumps in, gets the stun, activates the ult coming out from Ra as well, Carino getting the extra damage. He picks off the kill, right, and then goes into the Ragnarok form to stop the pull, then pulls the tower to make sure that his teammate wouldn't actually pull the aggro. That way, he gets out, forces Confrey's rotation. They drop the kill either way, but Zinder actually winds up forcing Confrey's hand here.
He'll find the stun on a Confrey. Confrey misses the impale, has the leap. Brutalize coming through 3, 4, but the Aussie proc there, helping keeping alive. Confrey dodging shots, but the ability to damage enough, and Reppy whiffs another freeze there. Likely would have set up an easy kill for him. Or was that beat up by Fenrir? No, it was not. But that's going to get them a very high value kill. Blinking forward is Kanye Life, really salvaging Titan's moment here. Pretty Prime, they're going to let him get the kill on that one as well. A little bit of nice play by Titan. And once again, it draws the game back to even. They get a very important return kill. I mean, had Confrey died and not Moex there, it could have really spelled disaster, as those Heartseeker stacks would have been a very big swing.
So at first I was thinking that wasn't too bad for Titan, considering Pretty Prime was able to push a wave into the tower there. But or rather vice versa, it pushed away into Pretty Prime's tower. The issue is that nobody defended the Night's Watch tower on left. He actually was too worried about the Gold Fury, even though they weren't doing it. They didn't have enough vision. So with that, Wolf of Vilo Street wound up missing an entire wave and left as well. So they wind up not only evening that out, but of course getting the kill as well. Night's Watch with a pretty big win there. Still about 1,000 gold down, but by no means a huge deficit.
Across the map, though, we saw Hades actually able to push Osiris out of the lane. He goes back for Ickfall. Hades able to get Warlock Sash as well, and you can see that this lane has started to turn in favor of Titan as that tier 1 on the right side is getting quite low. Mid camp's coming up on the left side. Remember, these are staggered based on the early game. Kanye Life.
Don't do it.
Thinking about blinking in, but I think he's thinking better of it here. No, he's going to make the play. He's going to turn the corner now and go in. Can he find more than one with a pull?
That one.
He didn't get very deep. He finds just the one chain. Will pull now. Should force out the raw ultimate. He will indeed. Wolf Veal Shoot already in his. Kanye Life, he'll get a couple ultimates for his life, but he is going to fall here now. Zindern and Ragnarok. Pretty prime with the preemptive beads, trying to toss in a few bonus in-hands as Confrey, but now he finds himself in an awkward position. Tail whip on a great timing there. Over the top comes the Osiris, finding 2. Pillar of Agony, going to zone out the rest of the team. NQ, can he do it by himself? Knockback by Confrey. Nicely done. Reppy to use his ultimate to zone and to keep away from the stun of Osiris. Now it's Ataraxia being chased down. And no, he's going to juke them back through the wall. Reppy, do you have the zoning potential here? Zindern will find the kill on the backside on Prime. Over the top comes NQ and the kill as well onto Reppy. It's 4 men down for Titan. The Knights watch. They'll get a free Gold Fury out of this. And they've taken the lead by a little bit, and it's going to expand with the Gold Fury as well here. Nicely done by them to take this lead away from Titan.
Pretty prime right there. With the first time, I think, that he didn't play an absolutely perfect fight. He did manage to stun the Brutalize before all 4 hits, but he actually takes 3 of them before landing that Axe Toss. He wasn't predictive in his spell. He was a little bit reactive, and unfortunately, Brutalize is one of the quickest spells in the game in terms of applicable damage. The the channel damage goes off very, very quickly. And right there, Zindern chased him down and picked him off, stopping any form of defense that they would have had against that Gold Fury. And Night's Watch looking strong here as they take a 2,200 gold lead, back from a 1,000 deficit, so a big swing in their favor. And what I think comes down to it is, again, Repicas doesn't land the freeze, and that time, it wasn't even a whiff. He jumps in, he walls somebody off, he gets the kill. It was a beautiful play, and then he sets the freeze up. He backs up to make sure they're in the cone, he's not going to choke, and he freezes, but at the same exact time, NQ realizes he's going to freeze, so I'm just going to ult into 2 people, activate my tether onto 3, force a defensive impale out of Confrey, and the whole time they're trying to chase NQ down the rest of the actual damage dealers, despite the fact that there's nothing but damage on the side of Osiris right now, except for the Smithy's Hammers, which was just bought. The rest of the team is just laying waste. Carreño's healing, doing a lot of damage with the beams. Zindern completely unchecked, chasing down a Hunter. I mean, this is the teamwork that Night's Watch is going to need, but it almost always comes down to the misplays from Ymir, whether or not they were maybe an accident or just getting outplayed. There needs to be some kind of level of better CC coming out from a very CC-heavy comp.
Kanye Life going to get nicked there. Looked like he may have been looking to play forward and try to snatch up a couple of the Night's Watch members. It looks like actually many of the members on both sides using the Titan Ward skin. A little confusing maybe, as the Night's Watch laying down those Titan Wards as well. But let's take a look at that 3rd item on Ymir here and talk a little bit about the build he's elected to go for, as it's going to be that Dynasty Plate Helmet in addition to cooldown boots. Remember, he did have that slow start, dropping his purple pot around the 3 minutes. What do you think about this itemization, Brandon?
So it's decent damage, right? It's very early game oriented. He doesn't care about the DPS as much as, or rather the defense as much as he cares about the damage. He's looking for that penetration, making Ymir just a little bit scarier in fights. Plus the extra defense never hurt anybody. The issue here is that he has built 3 items that indicate early game, right? Dynasty Plate Helm, very cheap. It's going to take an item slot. He's got cooldown boots to help him get more freezes off, which haven't been helping him. And he's, of course, have Bumba's Mask, but he hasn't been jungling quickly enough to really get use out of it. And with the missed pot and the fact that he's invested so much into these actives, you look across the way at Zindern, 314 right now, 900 extra gold, and on a character whose early game is just as good, it's trouble.
Beads forced on Moex by Kanye Life there. Neith beads down for 130 seconds. And now we'll see if Titan can capitalize on that. Ares ultimate will be up a little bit before that. Look at this. Both warriors actually electing for the reinforced greaves, I believe those are.
Yeah, both of them have the reinforced greaves. Strange.
Shoes, damn it, reinforced shoes.
30% crowd control reduction. There was actually something that's getting fixed, or I think was fixed with Anubis, where Sorrow wasn't functioning as resolve. So if you had those shoes and your Sorrow and Ares on your team with bolster defenses, you had a 70% CC reduction.
You're a tier.
Yeah, you were super tier. Super tier. Made him really, really
Thank you.
scary.
Wow. Did he just walk out of his tower? Okay, because in comes Zindern, but Reppy, he's been channeling this, and here comes a Pillar of Agony as well.
Okay.
Okay, they just bursted down the Ymir, that's fine, but now can they find Ataraxia as well? Looks like they can. The bait call from Nox was there. Here comes Ragnarok. Ataraxia snatched up. Not sure what happened there. We won't talk about that one, but they get the kill anyway. Zendern finds it onto Ataraxia, and yeah, Titan gets baited.
I don't know if they're far enough ahead to have Fenrir jump into Ymir ult.
That was a little bit scandalous.
There's some serious suspect nonsense going on there. But they do take 2 for 1, though trading out NQ, who's level 18. That's a very long respawn timer, but they do get Ataraxia. And it winds up being a pretty big win there, considering the fact that NQ, having the longer respawn timer, died first, still gaining almost the same amount of experience as Ataraxia. So you see that he has about 7 or 8 seconds, a little bit faster on the respawn. Repicos just spawning now, who's already 2 levels behind. Now, it's hard for me to say that Ymir wasn't the right pick, because if you watch the last set, Cubo Fred had a great second game with the character, right?
I think Ymir a fine pick. And it's fine for this composition as well. It's an early game oriented composition. I mean, the only thing that's a little strange is that you pick the Hades for the solo lane along with the Ymir jungle. Makes it a little easy for the Osiris to itemize, or I guess more appropriately, not itemize here. He's just built damage. He's not really too worried about it.
Yeah, he just does not care about either one of them. He tanked 2 ultimates from Ymir and Hades there throughout their entirety without any actual magical defense, and, you know, just barely died. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Lotus Crown is complete here for the Raw as well. Nox has opened up the ability to really aggressively 5-man here, especially 5-man in Siege with this Lotus Crown. Wolf of Elos, you're going to try to make the play on the Confer here. Not going to find it. On the other side, though, the fight is breaking out. Kanyalite's going to use the No Escape ultimate. Not going to pull anybody in, but he will get blown up nonetheless. Repicos, he's going to try to zone out the team, but into the back line goes NQ. This time, he gets blown up by Pillar of Agony. Zendern with a Ragnarok active on the big dog. He's going to snatch up at least one here. Damage coming out onto Repicos' Ymir, but he's going to survive for at least the moment. Lotus Crown doing a bit there to help mitigate some of the damage from Zendern. Pretty prime and Confrey moving forward, but unable to secure any additional kills.
Beautiful shot from Moex, finds a big spirit arrow onto the weave there, rooting out 2, allowing his team to just jump back and utilize the massive amount of healing. It looks like they're going for the left side mid camps. No, they're going to forego it and go right for the Gold Fury. They know the fight is massively in their favor. Moex at this point is not going to have too much trouble tanking this. Pretty prime and Confrey. Oh, whoa.
Okay, there's Sobek, pretty prime. He beads in the air. Down goes Wolf of Elo Street. The snipe came through and it hit a couple, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Zendern, oh, Confrey, where were you there, buddy? Had great positioning, but wasn't able to secure any damage. Carino will get slowed out now by the Ymir Glacial Strike. 3 members dropped over time from the Night's Watch, and now, well, that whole last couple minutes where they really built themselves some lead and some space there has been erased now. Titan gets return kills and the Gold Fury and takes back the gold lead once again at 20 minutes.
Wolf Velo Street with a very large amount of poor judgment there as he decides
just
to
like,
dive
I can pluck
3.
him, I'm going.
Yeah, but the issue is that even if there was a kill there, which it didn't seem like there was, right? But you got to remember, we can see it from this view, not their view, so we have information they don't. The issue was, even if he did get 1 kill there, he was still putting himself out of position as the only person with hand 3 in his team. How are they going to secure the Gold Fury?
Yeah, decision making, not being shown off there at its finest necessarily. But you never know. I mean, the call could have been to go out and grab, and he just said yes, sir, and went for it.
That's true. And, you know, Titan, though, I mean, this is what they do, is you give Titan an inch, man. They're going to take a mile off it, and that's what they did. They saw exactly what their plan was. They utilized it against him. They blew up Wolf of Elo Street. Zendern tried to come in for clean. They turned around, CC'd him down, properly attacked him without putting themselves in too much danger. They spread the damage out very, very well, and then pushed them away from the Gold Fury. I mean, that's exactly what they should have done. Titan played that as perfectly as they could have, and there's really nothing you could expect more from the people who took second at Worlds.
Yeah, they've drafted also like the team fightiness 3 Guardians. I mean, it's like Ares, Ymir, Hades, a lot of magical damage coming out, tremendous amount of control. We haven't necessarily seen the Bang Brothers, if you will, of Ullr and Confrey really come together and put that much damage out. Confrey's picked up a 6-1 and 2, but it hasn't seemed like he's dominated the fights really. He's kind of cleaned up, which is great for your Hunter, but they've been fighting as 4 or 5 with him in it, and we haven't seen single targets being nuked down really with this composition, which is very capable of doing that. The Night's Watch have had the edge in kind of the execution in terms of killing single targets quickly between Zendern and Carino, more so than the like Repicos freeze into Axe Ullr combination kills.
But I mean, that's the beauty of the 3 Guardian to Hunter comp, right? Is that you have 3 Guardians doing chunk damage, right? Just like 20%, 15%, 15%. And then you have 2 Hunters that are like, from really far away, I'm going to kill you in 2 hits now. And that's what they're doing, right? Comfrey's getting those cleanups with beautiful uses of Desert Fury, nice impales, pillar usage to try to, I guess, augment that extra CC that doesn't put on the diminishing returns, at least for other slows. It's just a very smart comp, and you have Ullr, and I think Ullr is one of the biggest keys to this comp. Is he has some of the farthest damage in the game. Hail of arrows swinging, I think, at like 85, 90 feet, something crazy like that.
Well, we're going to jump in, and we're going to try to pull Mox. Force out the beads once again from the Neith. Kanye Life just repeatedly seems to be just very pleased with himself for doing that, and will just take those beads every chance he gets with the no escape.
It's strange to me that he's going for it, though, considering the fact that he doesn't have any cooldown built. He went into Midgardian Mail, as opposed to the Sovereignty, a little bit of a strange pickup there, and then has the Reinforced Creeps. There's no CC reduction, which means he's trading out the beads timer for his ultimate timer, except... Granted, I mean, they do have Ymir, right? They do have a bunch of other stuns coming out in the team with the Hunters, but they're not utilizing this time. Like, everybody should be rotating right now to pick off Mox, who just used his major escape mechanic.
Well, the final item slot has been filled on the side of Titan. There will be no creeping curses for them. So the anti-heal is going to come through items, and we see Ullr has selected for a Brawler's Beat Stick, in fact, which is very uncommon. Confrey's going to take quite a bit of burst. Yeah, he's almost going to die. Zindern barely not getting that kill. Ultimate going to be blocked by Kanye Life. Nicely played there by Titan. Bolster defense is used as well to help keep Confrey up. Yeah, Reppy, he's thinking about it.
Don't do it.
I think they're going to concede the tier 1 here, though, will Titan.
They have to. I mean, losing Confrey's damage there hurt them just a little bit too much. And with that, they'll lose 500 gold. Not the biggest loss here, especially with how close the game actually is. 1,500 gold at this stage. Actually, it's only 1,000. Oh, my God. 1,000 gold at this stage is basically nothing.
Yeah, Osiris as well. He's finding some farm in the mid lane. He took the left side camp. He'll take the right side as well if NQ peeks over that wall, at least. Moving forward now is Reppy, but diving down into the waters is the Wolf of Ullr. Nicely done by him on that Sobek.
Beautiful play. Just using Charge Prey to get away from the wall right before it comes out, and then recognizing the blink freeze opportunity. As soon as he hears the blink, decides to ult to make sure he can't be frozen. Saves himself from going down, but will be in an awkward spot as he does not have his ultimate for about 70 more seconds.
Heartward Amulet selected by the Osiris here to help the team. Oh, that's a nice axe. They're going to put NQ in a tough spot. He's going to be forced to use his ultimate to get out of this one. And, oh, yeah, maybe not the best ultimate from Ataraxia there. Wanted to catch NQ, was just off the mark. Did get Wolf of Ullr, and I guess forced to charge Prey, but that's like a 14-second cooldown for your ultimate. Not always what you want to go for. 12-10 for the Night's Watch here. 24, nearly 25 minutes into this one. And as Brandon said earlier, we're basically all square in gold.
By the way, I love the Heartward Amulet coming out from Osiris. Such a smart pickup. Like you said, it's going to help the team out. It's also going to put their Guardian player, Sobek Wolf of Ullr, in a position where he doesn't have to build into it. He already has a decent amount of inherent defense. He has Mark of the Vanguard as well. So this will put him in a position to make sure that he doesn't have to build into that magical damage early. Whereas Osiris, who is a frontliner who wants to be on top of those Guardians, has the opportunity to build into an item that's extremely cost-effective, not putting him too far behind. And then, of course, now you see the Light Blade coming out. Now, with their comp here on Titan, I would assume that Osiris is going to build this into Executioner.
Yeah.
Extra attack speed, going to do very well, but the penetration on top of the pen that he's already getting from Iqbal is going to put him in a great spot to blow up these Guardians.
Titan, they're hunting for kills on Night's Watch as they start up the Gold Fury here. Confrey looking to zone. With the two Hunters, they can take the Gold Fury fairly quickly, but Titan, they will not get too greedy here. They're going to give some room to the Night's Watch and let them set up camp, and in comes the Wolf.
Nice shot.
Confrey takes the initial snipe right to the face. Ataraxia finds a nicely placed Pillar of Agony to split up the fight. Dare to Care, I'm sorry, Wolf of Ullr, not sure I saw Dare to Care there. Takes a lot of damage and will go down to a nicely placed Hail of Arrows as well from Pretty Prime, but on the backside, NQ picks up the kill to Confrey. Carino taking the damage now, gets out another heal. Kanye Life to fall to Zindern now. NQ seems to be impossibly tanky. They can't seem to take him down or stop him from harassing the backlines, tethering onto Repicos, forcing him away. Wanting more, Neith comes back, flipping forward. Carino, no, just off the mark.
Pretty Prime gonna walk back, and no, he's gonna learn the wiser of that one. Great plays coming out, and that's the level of trust that we saw in Split 1 Trig, in Season 0 Trig, where Zindern jumps in and Carino already has that snipe going. They know exactly who their targets are, they know exactly who to fight, they know how to split the damage, and then Zindern beautifully uses his ultimate to get himself out of the Hades ult and then doubles back to put Hades into a bad spot. All the while, NQ pushing 3 in the back line, making sure Hades is completely out of the fight, not only to the fact that he almost has the kill, so Hades can't attack, but he's tanking up a bunch of damage that would have been better suited elsewhere. It's the tanky build with the high attack speed and the fact that he's stripping power away with AoE auto attacks that really put them in that fight. Night's Watch's comp looks a little bit stronger at this stage, but we're getting to that phase where the Hunters are going to really start coming online, and for that, you're looking at Ullr.
Yeah, they have maybe 2 or 3 more minutes where they can flex their muscles here, unless NQ finds like a triple kill in the next fight, it's going to be tough for him to continue to jump into the backlines versus the Hunters and pick one off. That time, Titan unable to focus fire there. But yeah, let's take a look at player damage. Moex, yeah, wow.
Just, he's Neith.
18.6k.
Neith does a lot of damage, right? World Weaver getting put it to anywhere that he wants, which is big. Really big AoEs with things like Unravel, very hard to dodge. You cannot dodge backflip if he decides to hit you with it. But you take a look at someone like Ullr, who's been rotating so much and fighting so much, and you compare the fact that he's almost 6,000 ahead, that's insane.
Yeah, and Carino putting out 13k is actually pretty nice for them, considering he has a Lotus Crown. Now just finishing off a Ratatouille. Actually, a little surprised to not see that be Asclepius, considering. But he will take... Yeah, it would have given him the max CDR too, but he'll take the Ratatouille, more damage to come out, so the team calling for more magical damage, and you want more burst here. Tethered is Kanye Life, trying to run away from NQ, but he's going to beads it. Not going to find the stun onto the Ares. Repicos going to be one to tee off on, and here comes the front line from NOX. They'll find Repicos, Pillar of Agony used by Hades in the center. He finds 4, and he's doing a lot of damage. That Spear of the Magi is really helping amplify there, and especially amplifying the Guardian damage. Here comes Confrey. This is going to be very important. He's going to find the kill onto Moex, and yes, it's a successful rotation now from the Hunter. He'll find a second kill as well. Ataraxia credited for the kill to Zinder and Pretty Prime. Can he find the axe onto Carino? Ataraxia there, he puts out the silence. Using the cooldown, 1 second. Yes, but he still finds it just before Carino able to turn the corner. Pretty Prime nicely played there. It's the second really stellar axe he's hit this game, and it keeps Titan once again in contention. That fight could have very easily put Night's Watch way ahead and given them the Fire Giant, but instead it'll be Titan who start up the major map objective.
You know, like you said, it's going to be 2 or 3 more minutes. You said that about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And Ullr comes in, and as soon as he finds his kind of like route in, destruction all the way through. They're going to take the Gold Fury. NQ's here, though. Low mana across the board. Low health on a Comfrey, but he's choosing to fight 2 Hunters and a Hades, and he will now, maybe not by choice, head back to the base for a clean minute.
Yeah, big difference there between the earlier fights and that Fire Giant fight was that NQ went in early to try to pick off Repicos. And they dumped Zindern leaping in, as well as they used Wolf of Yellow Street's ultimate on the Sobek lurking in the waters, all to get to the back line to fight a Guardian.
Yeah.
And
they got him?
Right, they got him, but then they didn't have that disruption to keep Confrey out on that late rotation. Normally in the fights, it's actually been NQ initiating very, very deep and aggressively after the front line comes out to find Confrey and push him out of the fights, but this time they leave Ymir and Ymir with space in a team fight, it just wrecked them. I mean, let's take a look at player damage again real quick and see how far Ymir, Ymir now in that 14k, he's climbed up a couple of positions.
And Ullr jumping up a lot, almost 5k, actually over 5k in that fight. And a lot of that came down to the fact that, like you said, the Hunters went unchecked. They used way too much into the Guardians. Ymir's getting focused down, and realistically, if there was a person not to focus on this team, it would be Ymir or Ares. And those are the people that died early. Those are the people that almost cost the fight. And then Hades out of nowhere, but you're looking at Pretty Prime. He lands that amazing axe, and then Comfrey puts up the pillar, stuns him right after it, and then half a second into the stun, which is getting real close to the cap on the DR, you have Hades coming out with a full silence, right? Like, that was an absolutely gorgeous use of CC rotation, and it allowed them to pick up the kill necessary for them to get the Fire Giant, and they're using it well. They're pushing down Tier 1. They've already got one. They're going to go into the Tier 2 here, and honestly, there's no way they can hold this. If they try to fight, Titan should win this.
Night's Watch may have lost there, actually. Titan now is going to get so much gold that if they want it, it's a great blink forward by Repicos. Finds 2.
Moex is caught.
Moex, he's snatched back in, no beads available. Confrey, yes, he'll get the crit plus the Desert Fury to finish him off. NQ, if NQ dies here as well, it's going to be big trouble for them. It is indeed. He represents a lot of their net worth on this team. Wolf of Yellow Street starting to take the in-hands. 2, 3, 4 from Confrey. That's enough to get the triple on the side of Titan's Hunter. They'll find the Phoenix as well. Only 2 members of the Night's Watch remaining to try to hold them out of the base, and one of them is a Fenrir, not really known for his AoE anti-push. They're going to take the rest of the towers here and a very, very substantial gold lead. Likely to be near 10k by the time all is said and done for Titan.
I love that play. For those of you who don't know, Devour Souls not only does a pretty ridiculous amount of damage, but the healing is also AoE. So he used the silence to apply Blight to all 3 of the smaller targets and then heals his team with it. Not for a substantial amount, but for enough to make them...
A couple hundred.
I mean, it's definitely a good situation for them.
Yeah, I'm sure if we take a look at player healing at the end of this game, we'll see that he's put out like 1,000 off of that one ability usage.
So right now, 32 minutes in, Titan was struggling, but suddenly find themselves about 8,500 gold in the lead.
Yeah,
and it's going to get bigger.
They'll take the rest of the camps here. They're going to clean off the jungle. That'll put them ahead by about the 10k and maybe another Gold Fury as well. How this lead has expanded so very, very quickly Look how fast they take the Gold Fury with the double hunters as well. And, well, the Hades is...
Hello?
Oh, okay, yeah, hey, let's just snatch up Ares real quick. Put a Brutalize out as well, and then... Damn.
That first
Midgardian Mail proc, yeah.
That first one lands the Midgardian Mail, and beautifully, Reppy comes back over. He struggled in the early game, but his late game has been phenomenal. Landing the choice freezes, getting the sexiest walls. That wall in the last fight is what spelled that whole win.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that wall keeping Osiris able to fall back to his friends.
Right, you know, forced Osiris back, but really catching Neith, forcing her to backflip, right? Then blinking in, getting the freeze, forcing her to beads. Reppy looks strong, and then second
Snatch.
blink in from Ares is like, hey, I heard you used your beads. I've been waiting for this.
You know what my ultimate's called, right? So Hades, his Blink 3 as well, and some serious damage items coming online now for the god of the underworld. Soul Reaver complete, Rada Tahuti on the way, and it's one of the more damage-oriented Hades that I've ever seen, honestly. Normally you'll see 2 defensive items, not just the one. It's just Spirit Road for him. They're going to be relying on, well, just kind of several tanks instead of one real main tank in this. As you see, none of the Guardians are built particularly tanky. I suppose Ares, the furthest along, but Hide the Urchin, a hybrid item at that. And there'll be a Magi's next for him. Kanye Life playing forward again. A great wall once more by Repicos. Just keep Ophiolus in an ugly place. And now they're going to snatch him back. This should be a free kill onto the Sobek. Bleed the snipe. Atarax is going to zone with his ultimate. He doesn't catch anybody there, but he does clear out a wave pretty quick.
Trouble for NQ.
He's chained. No, that final chain going to miss, but doesn't matter. In comes the Ymir anyway, taking quite a bit of damage to his Confrey, and Confrey leaping forward.
Did he jump into
feeling himself, yeah.
I thought that was a Hercules pull. Like,
I thought it was a Neith backflip.
there was really no reason for him to go there, but no Fire Giant. Now, remember, Fire Giant will be respawning in about 5 seconds here, so they're going to take that tier 2 without that added bonus. And even so, take it quite cleanly. Now 12,000 gold in the lead.
NQ, he's clearing out a bit. Titan, they'll clear out the jungle of the Night's Watch.
Zindern jumps in,
wow,
looking for
Zindern
damage.
into 5.
Yeah, brutalized. A lot of damage from Carino in the back line.
Why did that work?
Zindern able to escape as well. And here comes Moex. This is their chance to turn this around.
Why did that work? How do you just...
It's the trust and the faith that Carino has that Zindern's going to make the play. He lands that snipe every time that he jumps in.
I wonder if they saw Repicos use Frost Breath to clear a camp or something. You know, it must be something like that, and they realize they could get a kill there, and they do. They sneak a kill on the Confrey.
And that's a really important kill. Maybe not shutting down the stack so much as just sending on her out for a minute, but they need to regroup like ASAP. Zindern died a little bit later. We'll be able to run back a little bit faster. But
it stalls the gold. I mean, it stalls the Fire Giant, probably most importantly.
Yeah, that's true.
But they do still have one late game Hunter. It's not like it's going to be too tough for them.
That's very true. And they still have 2 Phoenixes down as well. Titan pushing down both the left and the mid, putting themselves in a great spot. Now, they had most vision on everyone on the map there. I'm very surprised to see them having not started this already. And
there it goes. Yeah, Adder actually going to be tanking it for the moment. Ullr coming in as well to add his damage to the table, and this is where things start going quickly for them. Ares throwing out some counter wards to see if they're going to have any, well, aggression coming, but it won't happen. The Night's Watch going to be... yeah, Wolf Village will just take a ward as a consolation prize, as Fire Giant will once again go the way of Titan. And look, they even waited for Confrey to respawn, so he'll get it too. What a guy.
And with that, Titan, only 3 kills ahead, but about almost 12,000 gold, which is really a huge amount of lead at this stage of the game. And realistically, it's like 6 or 7K at this point. At like 36 minutes is where you start to become a little bit stronger than your opponent at level 20. 12K plus a Fire Giant. This one should belong to Titan with little effect, right? You have to consider the fact that NQ, not a lot of late game damage, very easily CC'd comparatively to, I would say, Bologna. Her late game not as effective as a Hunter might be. Zindern, same thing, has to be in the front line to do the same damage that a Hunter could do from the back line. And then they have Neith, who is the weakest endgame Hunter. Couple that with Carino, whose damage maybe not limited so much as hard to hit, and then Sobek, who has built full defense, and you throw that against maybe just Ullr by himself.
All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Ullr with a Magi's Blessing and Beads probably could take them out, but he's forced to build in the Brawler's Beat Stick, and as we mentioned, so his build is complete now, and a couple of those items are like 2,200 gold items, or on average, right, between the Aussie and the Brawler's Beat Stick, both very cheap. So not going to be hitting as hard as he possibly could, but still, the Deathbringer Rage Blade going to be plenty to steroid the damage. And that Executioner from on her, if they're hitting the same target, he'll continue to steroid that damage, so...
This shouldn't be too hard for them to take down. Remember,
No.
when the Phoenixes respawn, they are debuffed, gaining only a maximum of 50% of their overall health, putting them in a pretty bad spot here on the Night's Watch. Split push, very smart, sending the Guardians to one lane with just the on-her and then Ullr to the other to try to shove down the already damaged Phoenix that's already been debuffed. You can see he's only hit it like twice, and it brought it down to almost nothing. It's mids down.
Yeah, Pretty Prime will just take that. It takes about 4 or 5 shots from the Ullr to take it out at this point. Wolf Veilshirt gets crit on the first hit. Silence out of the dash as well. CC Chain coming through. Not enough to find the kill just yet. Ymir ultimate used. Not going to get it, but Kanye Life able to follow that one up. Now the Ares pull. Going to try to get somebody. Doesn't find anything just yet. Zinder's Ragnarok doesn't pick up any players either. Second Phoenix to fall here on the left side. That's for the second time. In fact,
trouble.
Titan still sitting at full HP because of that Fire Giant buff. They are knocking on the door and ready to walk inside. Titan does not have very much left in the gas tank to try to hold them out at this stage.
This should be no trouble whatsoever. If they choose to go for the third Phoenix, so be it. But realistically, they could dive that Titan for free at this point and just push it right down. They're going to try to activate some chains. Zindern jumping into the back line. This time, Carreño not on the mark. And with that big loss of damage, I don't see them making the defense here, especially with Titan landing every shot that they throw. Hail of arrows from the back. Lots of crits coming out, and it should be enough to clean it up. Double kill. Phoenix goes down. Titan fully exposed.
Yeah, now with the Fire Giant on 5, Titan with all of its protections, well, not all, but a lot of its protections and damage stripped with no structures remaining, will fall very, very quickly to Titan, who takes game 1 over the Night's Watch. 24 kills to do it. And, well, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, Titan, they didn't
really
look...
think that we don't say the second T in Titan.
Titan. I don't think they looked dominant. I think they looked pretty good there, but it doesn't really remind me that much of World Championship form Titan.
See, I don't know that I agree there, because that's what Titan does.
Okay.
They just play kind of awkwardly in the beginning, and then they show up late game out of nowhere on the defense, like First Blood, right? We're going to check it to the First Blood right here, and this is, to me, what happens to Titan in every game.
They get zapped?
7,000 ults getting used onto one person, they lose it, and they don't counteract the fight. Like, right there, they still had 2 people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They had their ultimates up. There could have been potential just to even take a mid-camp, but they choose to just run away.
Yeah, that was an interesting part of the game, right? They get the First Blood is picked up by the Night's Watch, and then they don't take that second mid-camp and don't really capitalize on what they had built for themselves.
I think it was like 5 minutes in or something where the second mid-camp was still up, and Pretty Prime just like walks around the corner.
Yeah, just went and took it. No problem.
And that's, I think, where... Let's take a look at the map control, actually. I think this is where Night's Watch really started to fall off. It wasn't the team fights. Those were just about even. The map control just straight up belonged to Titan.
Yeah, those purple buffs I'm looking at, dual lane very, very dominant for Titan. Mana Camp, even though Hades, we did kind of highlight him stealing it once, wasn't able to ultimately take the lead there. One more going to the side of the Osiris in the solo lane. Gold Furies were split 50-50, but both of the Fire Giants, maybe the most important thing on the map, going the way of Titan, securing them the victory.
Neith, certainly the flavor of the month pick right now, and I think this is like the exposed weakness of the character. It's if you don't have another endgame hunter, you're going to have an issue. That's why I really like the Neith or the Cupid in tandem, or, you know, on her even, in tandem with another endgame hunter. Someone like, for instance, Pretty Prime's Ullr, who had an absolutely dominating endgame.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of endgame damage, right? And the thing is that those hypercarry assassins are not very popular currently. And so when Osiris is drafted there, right, it kind of stymied their late game damage potential, because that's their other really core melee or range DPS role, and unable to get it. But player this one is Confrey, no question there, is on her. Did a lot of work, and you'll remember when he was like 6-0-2 when we kind of highlighted him, and then goes on to go 4-3 for what is 8 assists. 9 assists.
And, you know, that's what Onher should be doing. He should be destroying the early game with his superior damage, and then in the end game, he should be putting up pillars, setting up stuns, doing a lot of damage with Desert Fury to multiple people, and helping the Ullr pick up the big kills, allowing himself to couple and kind of CC chain off of characters like Ymir and like Hades. And this is why I think this hunter specifically is perfect for Comfrey, because if there was any hunter that would be comparable to a bruiser, it would be absolutely Onher.
We've seen him play Chalk in the dual lane, actually, as well, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that come out, perhaps. Confrey, though, player of the game.
I mean, beautiful front to back. We're going to be going into Game 2 here. Remember, this is a 2-game split. There is not a Game 3 force. We go strictly by records. So they still have a chance to tie it up. Night's Watch still looking pretty strong. Remember, guys, this was the top seed in Season 2 coming out of Europe. And for a Challenger Cup team that was made all pretty much recently, to go up this level of I guess, veteran play. It's pretty
Right.
impressive.